few days ago, I got a notification on my phone. It was an email by the organizers of this event, and it started off by hoping that I was in good health. At the time, I was watching a movie and stuffing my face with popcorn. So yes, my health was pretty okay. As I read further, I realized that it was an invitation to speak at this event. I had been waiting for this email for quite some time now, so I was so excited. I could barely stop myself from screaming out with joy, but I did. Because I was in a movie hall. I could not afford to get a restraining order. So let's go back to that movie I was watching. Its name was The Darkest Minds. And for those of you who haven't watched it, it focused upon a girl who was classified as an orange in a world full of blues, greens, and goldens. These kids, they had superpowers. Things like telekinesis, being super smart, or even controlling the electricity. But the orange, she could control people's minds. Now that's cool. I think the closest thing we have to an orange in real life are the people that work in marketing. Now before you laugh, give me an explanation as to how can somebody convince you to buy 5 cakes when you don't even need one, to buy 5 cakes just so you could get the candles for free. I mean to say it has to be mind control. There is no other explanation. So this field, it has always intrigued me. It always lit a fire of curiosity in my heart. And I knew that if I wanted to make an impact upon the world and still make money out of it, then this was the field for me. After all, what better way is there of making an impact than by even being a shadow of what Steve Jobs was? But my ambitions, my dreams were to go even further, somewhere that seemed completely out of my reach at that time. And I knew that if I wanted to achieve that, then my path would have to be starkly different than the one of my peers. I had to do something completely out of the blue that would allow me to pursue my dreams. So I made the decision to, well, I'm not going to tell you that just yet, because I read somewhere that suspense gets people to stay even for the not so good speeches. So back to that email I was talking about earlier. At that time, my head was rushing with ideas of what I could speak about today. I was filled with creativity and generally pumped about this. That energy lasted right up until I actually had to write it. There I sat just staring at the blank screen in front of me. Where did all that creativity go just when I needed it? So I thought, why not I get some inspiration? This was code for procrastination in my brain, by the way. So with no time to waste, I open YouTube and I search up for some TED Talks, one of which was labeled, How Not to Procrastinate. You see the irony there? And that's when it hit me. I'm going to be talking about myself. Genius, mind-blowing, right? So I'm a 13-year-old girl with huge ambitions and a few extra hours on my hands. Surely I'm the most interesting person to talk about, right? I say that with a huge dose of sarcasm. Why? Because while I was filling out a form for this event, they asked me a question. What are your hardships? And the only hardships that I could come up with was the paper cut that I got a few days ago. That's my hardship. And no joke, that thing hurts so bad when you use sanitizer. So I'm starting to realize I'm not good at the whole suspense thing. So I'm just going to tell it to you. A year ago, I was faced with the hardest decision of my life. I had to choose between the security that came with going to school. It would offer me a future that I knew I could survive with. Or I could embrace the uncertain and go for a completely different approach, something called homeschooling. This would provide me an opportunity to pursue a future that I could not only survive with, but also live with. I had two simple options, but the decision-making that went into these options were not simple at all. I had a chance, a very risky chance, but a chance nonetheless. And I took that chance. I started homeschooling. It offered me a flexible schedule to pursue my dreams, among many other perks. But why did I go homeschooling? The reason I chose homeschooling was because I truly believe that there's something fundamentally wrong with our general schooling system. It expects us to fit into these molds. Today, you can get almost anything personalized. You can get personalized pens, jackets, you can even get personalized cars. So why not a personalized schooling system? But I'm not here to advocate for homeschooling. Everybody that I've met thinks that homeschooling is the easiest thing on earth. Well, let me just burst your bubble right there, because it's not. But the path that lets you pursue your dreams is rarely the easiest one. The reason I stand here today is because I took a chance, and I want you to take a chance as well. There was a lot of complicated thought processing that went into making my decision, but I truly believe in the cheesiest way possible that it was my positivity that allowed me to make what I hope was the right decision. The idea of positivity, I believe, it's so underrated right now. Sure, we all like to send those good morning text messages with those beautiful flowers and that amazing breakfast, but in reality, when you look at those pancakes, the fact that you're eating a mint, only a mint for breakfast, it does not make you feel any more positive about the rest of the day. Trust me, it doesn't. But those so-called gurus, they also talk about positivity. They say, go in front of the mirror and say you're happy. Well, I truly believe if you have to wake up every morning and tell yourself, I'm happy, then chances are you're not. So how do we stay positive in this world right now? My friends and my family, they send me messages such as, pizza may cause cancer. If that's possible, then surely a nuclear war is not a far-off possibility either. I would know. I'm a blogger myself. I write about these kind of things. So now how are we supposed to stay positive, Bhavika? That is a question that I hope is coming in your mind right now. Because if it's not, then I have no idea what to say next. So in this negative world, there's no wonder our parents, our grandparents, they talk about the good old days. You know, back when MySpace was a thing, or even farther, when books were socially acceptable. No, I'm just kidding. I love to read books, on my Kindle at least. So does anybody in the crowd have an interest in journalism? Okay, but I'm pretty sure we all have enough common sense to know that normal activities do not make headlines. Imagine opening up the newspaper or taking out your BBC app and reading the headline that says, "Flight from KL to Australia safely landed." That doesn't make headlines. But you know what does make headlines? Flight from KL to Australia crash landed. Last year, there were 34.6 million flights flown, out of which only 16 had accidents that led to any fatalities. Why am I boring you with this statistic? Well, I just want you to know that the world may not be such a bad place after all. Things like airplane accidents or extreme poverty, These are all rare cases. But these rare cases are what grab your eyeballs. They are the reason you read these articles, these headlines in the first place. So, should we blame the journalist for creating a negative worldview for us? Not really, because it's the journalist's job to get you to read these articles. So then how? If we were all to recognize that these articles, these headlines, these are all rare cases, such things do not happen on a day-to-day basis, then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to see the world in a more positive light. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you are thinking, she's so insensitive. We've all seen those photos of the Syrians that are living tragedy lives, or how climate change is causing disasters around the world. But those good old days that your grandmom talks about, those were the days when child deaths, when deaths on the battlefield were much more common. I'm not saying we should be ignorant of our current world problems, no. What I'm saying instead is that maybe we should look at the world from a, I can't believe I'm saying this, but from a glass half full perspective. That we have made it this far. Child deaths were 44% before, and now they're only 4%. HIV infections have also dropped dramatically over the years. And a lesser population of the world is hungry and poor now. 28% in 1970 and only around 11% right now. I'm not saying that we should ignore the ones that are still suffering, no. We should help them in any way we can. But if we recognize all the progress that the world has made, then you may start to see that it feels as if I put a lens of positivity in front of your eyes. You may start to see the reason to be more hopeful. You may start to see the reason to dream bigger dreams. And you'll see that so much is possible. And there's scientific proof that the things in the world have improved for the better. And nothing beats science. It's science. So if you're able to create a more positive mindset towards humanity's achievements, then maybe you'll notice that your problems that seemed so huge yesterday, they may start to look small. Or that huge step, that big leap of faith you were so scared of taking yesterday, it may start to look easier. And that dream of yours, the one that you've been nurturing for a while now, the dream that makes you feel all giddy inside, the dream that just makes you want to drink a Red Bull and grow some wings, that's the dream. Hold on to it. Work hard for it. And most importantly, take that leap of faith. I took mine. It doesn't seem like much right now compared to all the other world's achievements. You have your own dreams, whether it's to go to space, be the best writer on earth, or maybe you just want to learn telepathy. I don't know what your dreams are, but you do. Now let the world know. It's a much better place right now. And with your dreams, the glass will only get fuller. So the world needs people like you, the ones that can dream. But don't just keep sleeping. Wake up. Take that dream of yours and make it a beautiful reality. Thank you very much.